Hey Internet, it's Aaron, your personal driver, and today I have a special treat for you. I'm going to do the top 5 vehicles for Uber XL and Lyft Plus. Now, one of my most popular videos last year was the best car for rideshare, and I did another top 5. But I keep getting asked, Aaron, what should I do for XL? What should I do for XL? What should I do for XL? So I'm going to answer that question directly. But I have a little bit of fun for you guys. I've decided to set up a couple cameras here, so you're going to be able to see me from all angles. So I got my main camera here, I got my web camera here, and I got my phone right here. And I will try to edit all of those in for you. Why? Because why not? It'll be fun. We'll see what happens. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and leave a subscribe down below. Hit the stupid YouTube bell icon. That way you can get notifications whenever I do a live stream or I upload a video like this. Just to let you guys know, I always say never buy a car for rideshare. There's a big debate in the community whether you should do it used or new. That's kind of like the oldest debate in the entire world. Obviously, new cars have depreciation on them. But if you have a new car, you have a better warranty. And sometimes by people I mean sometimes dealerships will throw in some other stuff, whether some free gas, free maintenance, free oil changes, that sort of thing. So it depends on if you want to do your own maintenance, if you can do the maintenance on it, or whether you want to have the protection in case something major goes wrong with the car. Just keep in mind when you are buying a new car, your depreciation is going to go down in value because you're going to be driving more than 13,000 miles a year. So when they average that cost in to your overall maintenance plan, you're going to have between $13,000 and $15,000 on average for the year. So with rideshare, you're going to be driving a lot more than that. So just keep that in mind when you're buying a new car. But new or used, I'll leave it to you. Personally, I like buying a used car just because you already have that initial depreciation hit already gone. But a lot of these cars that I'm going to be talking to you today are new because the technology that are in the car is a new technology. So a lot of the older cars don't have this technology, or they didn't think that there was any sort of need for it. Okay guys, so this is really important. Never buy a car for rideshare, okay? You need to buy a car for you. Everybody has different needs. So think about the basic things you need in a car, right? Do you have a family? Do you have pets? Are you a single person? So each one of those lifestyles carries with it different stuff, right? If you're single, you just need to get from A to B. Sometimes you want it to reflect yourself, like if you, you want to have some fun, go on some dates, that kind of thing. You might have like a more sporty car. But if you're a family guy, like myself, space, trunk space, how comfortable of a ride is it? Those sort of things are much more important. Like I'm not going to go out and buy a sports car because I can't fit 2 car seats and the dogs in the back. So I'm much more of a fan of a compact SUV type of lifestyle, third row seating, if you can find some cheap there, minivans, that sort of thing. So the kind of car you buy should fit your lifestyle. Just remember when you go into the purchasing process that one thing you definitely need to do is consider rideshare when you're doing it. So if you're going to buy an SUV because you think your family needs an SUV, say you have a couple of kids and some pets, so you want to get an SUV, okay, that makes sense. Your lifestyle requires you get an SUV, so then also maybe you should get an SUV that can be more efficient to go ahead and do rideshare with. And that's also ultimately what I'm going to be talking about today. So the first thing I'm going to do is a couple of runner-ups. Not all of them made the list for various reasons. So I did some more luxury type vehicles at first. The idea being I wanted to get something that not only got onto XL, but you could do maybe Uber Select with, or Uber SUV or Uber Black, that sort of thing. All of those different platforms require different things. And unfortunately, while these are pretty good cars as far as luxury cars for rideshare, they're not that great for Select and for Uber SUV because they don't qualify. Now, they don't qualify in my area, which is the Bay Area. They might qualify in your area, so check with your local Uber office before you purchase them. But the two runner-ups I'm going to talk about are the 2004 Xfinity QX60, okay, and the 2015 Audi Q7 TDI. Now, both of these vehicles are on the more expensive side new, but they are great rideshare cars if you're into more luxury style feel. I mean, because keep in mind, you're going to be driving these for hours at a time, so you want to be comfortable. So ultimately, what keep these out of the top 5 is just that they're cost prohibitive. They're really expensive for what they are, and then you don't get on there. So these don't qualify for Uber Select in San Francisco. You can check your area, maybe they will in yours. Every area has different qualifications. And while the MPG is good, I just don't see the value in buying a luxury car like this to do Uber X and Uber XL. You're you're just not going to get the value out of it. So number 5 is the 2017 Nissan Rogue. Sorry, I always mess up. The Rogue. So out the door, it's going to be about $23,000 for 2017 Nissan Rogue. There is a 2018 coming out. It is available in some areas, but the major rollout isn't going to be happening for a couple of months. So by the time you see this video, maybe you want to talk about a 2018 Nissan Rogue. It's up to you. Now it gets excellent MPG, so 26 in the city and 33 on the highway. And for a smaller SUV with third row seating, that is pretty awesome. The problem with the Nissan Rogue is it's more on the compact side. It's not a full-size SUV. So while there is third row seating, you don't fit in it very comfortably. And that can be a problem with rideshare and if you're getting trips to and from the airport with luggage. But the nice thing about it is it gets better MPG than most full-size cars, like a Nissan Sentra, for example. So you can do UberX with this car, and you won't be losing money the same way you'll be losing it with other kinds of SUVs and minivans. The cost to own is just under $39,000, so that is expensive as far as maintenance goes. It's probably because this version is relatively new, so all the parts are going to be harder to find you. Now, coming in number 4 is the Tesla Model X. Now, I know what you're thinking. Teslas are expensive. Yes, they are expensive. So I hear you there. That's more expensive. But if you're going to be doing Uber XL, you're going to be spending a little bit more money than you would on a normal car anyway. You're looking anywhere between $40,000 and $50,000, generally speaking, for a new SUV or a minivan that has third row seating. So at $80,000, it is costly, and there aren't a lot of used ones. I looked several places, but people love their Model X's, and they haven't put them on the market yet. The advantage to a Model X is that you don't pay for electricity, or you don't pay for gas, right? And the maintenance is very, very, very cheap. Edmunds has the cost to own for 5 years at $91,000 because that includes the parts for the Tesla, which are relatively expensive. However, it does say you're going to spend a few $1,000s in fuel costs, and if you are smart about it, you actually don't pay anything for electricity because Tesla has the supercharger network. So you can go ahead and charge there for free. Just keep that in mind. One of the nice things about the Tesla is that you get almost 300 miles of charge. It says 289. So that is almost more than any driver is going to drive in one specific day doing rideshare. Now, one problem with the Model X is not all areas accept UberX on the premium platform. I know that's confusing, but they've started to change that. So if you look on the forums and the websites, people complain about this all the time. I have a Model X. Why can't I do Uber Select? Well, some areas in Uber are slowly letting you go on there, and I think Lyft does let you do it on their premium platform. So it's going to slowly change over us. The reason this is higher on the list is because you can use it for more than XL, at least going forward. In fact, if it wasn't so expensive, this would be number 1 because electric cars just are so much better for rideshare if they have enough miles on them, because you can save so much money per mile. Okay, so number 3. What's number 3? That's a good question. So number 3 is the 2017 Toyota Highlander, which is a hybrid. Make sure you get the hybrid version. Out the door, it's about $36,000. You can get some of them used already, but the hybrid versions are just as expensive used, so I don't see why getting it used would be any different. And the reason this is number 3 is because it has the incredible MPG power of 30 miles per gallon in city and 28 on the highway. So it's weird, electric cars and a lot of hybrids get better gas mileage in the city than on the freeway, which is different than most gas-powered cars. And the reason for that is regenerative braking, meaning when you brake in a hybrid and an electric car, it gives electricity back into the battery, so you actually get a little bit extra mileage using your brake. The reason this particular one isn't higher on the list is the maintenance on this are incredibly high, even for just a regular plain hybrid, okay? So the Toyota Highlander does have an estimated $45,000 for their cost to own over 5 years. And for like a rideshare driver, you're going to be driving more than $15,000, so it is going to be a little bit higher. That being said, 30 miles per gallon for an SUV that has third row seating is incredibly good and brings a lot of value, because if you're driving at 30 miles per gallon during slow times when you can't get an XL ride, you can do UberX and you can make money on it. Because 30 miles per gallon is a lot more than a lot of regular full-size cars. So if you just get in a Nissan Altima, a Toyota Camry, whatever it is, there's a good chance, depending on the year, that this particular SUV is going to be getting you better miles per gallon than a regular full-size car. Number 2 is going to blow your mind, guys. And before I even tell you what it is, I'm just going to ask you a question, okay? What if I told you I could get you a car for less than $30,000 that you can do Uber X, Uber XL, Uber Select, Uber Black, and Uber SUV. And then I told you I could do all of that with third row seating better than 20 miles per gallon. What would you say? Would I blow your mind? Let me introduce you to the number 2 best rideshare car for Uber XL. That is the 2013 Cadillac Escalade Hybrid. I know what you're thinking. There's no way. Why would I buy an expensive SUV just to do Uber with? I'm going to lose all my money. No, I'm going to blow your mind. In 2012 and 2013, there were hybrid versions of the Cadillac Escalade. Now, these didn't sell very well except for certain specific markets. So it is very hard sometimes to find one of these. But if you can find one of them, go ahead and sweep them up. The average cost I found was $18,995 for it, which for a Uber XL car is excellent. It's one of the cheapest ones on here. But keep in mind, you have to get to 2013. And the reason for that is, to get on the Uber SUV and Uber Black platform, the oldest model they'll take in San Francisco, so check your specific market, is 2013. So if you bought this car this year, you would only be able to drive it until January 1st of next year. And after that, Cadillac doesn't have an SUV hybrid that I could find, at least available in the United States. But Uber Select is 2009, so you could drive this car into the ground. At $18,000, you're not going to have a lot of depreciation. You can put as many miles on this as you can. There isn't a cost to own I could find on this because they're so rare. But I imagine the maintenance on these are going to be high. Cadillacs are expensive to go ahead and own. I forgot to mention the best part is it's in-city 20 mpg, on the highway 23 miles per hour. So that's not as good as some of these other cars that I've been talking about, which is why it's not number 1, it's number 2. But the versatility, the fact that you can have it on all these other platforms is definitely a reason why you should think about this. Now keep in mind, as a side note, you do have to have commercial driver's license and commercial insurance in order to operate in some markets in the United States doing Uber. So make sure you're ready to put that kind of investment in there if you're going to attempt to get on the platforms. Uber Select, however, you don't have to worry about that. If you think 20 miles per gallon is good, you think $20,000 is good for a vehicle, I'd go ahead and get this one because doing Uber Select, Uber XL, all those different platforms really increases your per mile rate, and it's fantastic. And honestly, at that price, that's about the same as if you just buy a Honda Civic. And in a lot of places, if you get upgrades, it's cheaper than driving a Honda Civic. The number 1 best Uber XL vehicle shouldn't surprise you if you've been following my channel. It is the Chrysler Pacifica plug-in hybrid minivan. This thing is a beast, okay? So first off, it's plug-in and electric. So if you want to take this car with you to work, you want to take this on a mini vacation, take the kids to the park or whatever, when you operate, the first 30 miles is all electric. So not a penny in gas are you spending when you drive within the first 30 miles. So for me, I got kids, we got dogs, yada, yada, yada. We're going to go on a family vacation, 30-mile radius, free. I don't have to worry about any gas at the tank. Overall, if you include the electric miles, meaning that you have a fully charged battery and you go out there, you can get 88 miles per gallon in this hybrid van. 88 miles per gallon is like twice as good as a Prius. And it's a minivan. Blows your mind, okay? So now I know you're saying, what's the range? Blah, 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 blah. Okay, calm down. A full tank of gas with one full charge will get you 525 miles. So you can drive from Canada to Baja California on 2 tanks of gas and 2 charges in this Chrysler minivan. It is amazing. And if you don't have a plug-in, say like your area doesn't have the infrastructure, so you don't have chargers that you can have access to, it still gets 33 miles per gallon if you just run it without the plug-in hybrid part. So if you don't charge the battery and you just run it as a hybrid, just on gas with no electricity, 33 mpg still blows any of these other things away. And it's a minivan. So keep in mind, if a minivan is not your style, say you're a single dude, No one's going to be impressed if you pull up to the club in your Chrysler minivan. But if you're an old man like me and you got kids, well, I'm not going to pull up in front of the club unless I'm dropping off some passengers. So for me and my lifestyle, I'm in that hashtag dad life, hashtag minivan life. So this is a perfect car for someone with my style. But even if you're just trying to flip some money for whatever reason, this is got to be the #1 car for Uber XL. I don't see how. I've researched every model I could possibly think about with third row seating. Nothing beats the Chrysler Pacifica Hybrid. This is a must-have. Well, not a must-have. That sounds too much like used cars. It's like, bah, 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 must-have, buy now. But the technology behind this is pretty legit. Now, I haven't been able to find any used cars yet. People in 2017 who bought this, I haven't let them go yet. But if you can, it's probably going to be a little cheaper because they have a 2018 version out now in San Francisco, but in other markets it's not out yet. They'll roll it out in a couple months. So 2018 or 2017 have the same miles per gallon and such on that. So definitely try and go ahead and think about this. I hope this video is helpful for you guys. I'll see you Friday and Saturday at 10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time when I do my live streams. Deuces!